YouTube isn't easy, and if you are just starting out, chances are you might be making some of the mistakes I have made. So in this video, I'm going to break down the 9 biggest mistakes from my YouTube content creation journey so you don't make the same ones. So starting with number 1 mistake that I did is worrying too much about others' opinions. And I think this mindset stops us doing not only content creation but whatever we want, because we always think that what other people will tell about us or how we get judged by them. The truth is, people always have to say something about you no matter what you do. So this is the worst mindset to have, and this is the mindset that most of the time stops us doing what we want. It could be content creation or anything else. And I still remember the emotional struggle before creating my first video content, because there were so many things in my head. I don't know anyone personally who takes content creation as a career or who even creates content seriously. So definitely there were fears like what my family or friends would tell about me, how I will be judged by them. And of course, I also had this fear that what the viewers would say about me. So there were so many emotional struggles. I know if you are just starting out, then you can relate to this. This is totally normal. Everyone faces these challenges. But the truth is, no one actually cares, because everyone is busy with their own lives. They don't have that much time to care about what you are doing. So you are totally free to do whatever you want. And most of the viewers post good comments, genuinely good comments. There are a very less percentage of the viewers who actually does some bad comment. There are a lot of emotional stuffs going inside our head that stops us doing what we want to do. The more you will create, the more you will realize this truth. So you have to go through all these emotional struggles that's nowhere but inside your head to create content. And definitely content creation takes a lot of guts, I think, because you have to do so many things when you are creating content. And most of the content creators start solo. That means they have to do everything when they are just starting out. Okay, coming to the next one, which is waiting for perfection. And again, this is another biggest mistake I did. The thing I learned is you are not going to like your first few videos, and that's absolutely normal. Because if you see the old videos of other creators you like, you will understand what I mean by this. Everyone starts from here, because what matters is just starting. And like every skill, it needs time. So you have to be patient to create that content piece that you think is perfect. Like every skill, it needs some time. You have to be patient, because YouTube content creation needs a lot of skills, from idea generation, talking to camera, communication skills, storytelling, planning, editing, designing, and whatnot. So you need a bunch of skills to create YouTube video content. So definitely you need to learn these skills to create content. There is no other option, except if you want to outsource, that could be the thing, if you have money. And you can only be good at some skill when you practice it, whether it's swimming, cycling, whatever it is. So you don't need to wait for perfecting anything. You don't need perfect gear, perfect background when you are just starting out. Also, you will not be perfectly talking to camera like your favorite creators do. In this process, I learned the truth, and that is perfection is just a myth. You have to start with whatever you have. The next mistake I did is thinking subscriber count matters the most. I had this myth for a very long time that the subscriber count matters the most. And the truth is, subscriber count is actually a vanity metric. That means it actually looks good to have that much subscribers, but it's not the most important metric when it comes to YouTube content creation. Chasing for subscribers only is actually much more demotivating. On the other hand, view count and watch time are the two most important metrics when it comes to YouTube video creation. These two metrics are much more important than subscriber count, and they actually matter. And here is why I'm saying so, because these two metrics are directly going to affect your monetization techniques, whether it's AdSense or whatever method you use to make money. So here is what I learned after making this mistake, that don't chase for subscribers. Instead, focus on good quality content that can potentially help at least one person. The next huge mistake I did is neglecting the packaging of the video. And the packaging means the title and the thumbnail of the video. As I didn't have a proper YouTube system or workflow, most of the time I crafted title and thumbnail at the very last moment. And I still remember for some videos, I crafted them after editing and even on the upload date. And this is really huge mistake. Why? Because as I'm crafting them at the very last moment, That means I'm not prioritizing them as much as I should. And the reality is the packaging of the video, that means title and thumbnail, are equally important like the original content of the video. Because think about this, two things that actually make viewers decide whether they should watch it or scroll it are title and thumbnail. So this create the first impression of the video in the viewer's mind. So how these things can be neglected, right? And after making this mistake, what I learned is I need to plan my title and thumbnail and take some time for crafting them as they are crucial. Coming to the next mistake I did, not taking my video editing challenges seriously. So in my opinion, video editing is one of the most time-consuming part of YouTube content creation. And I took so long for editing one video, and I thought that this is the first time I'm doing this, or I'm just learning the skills now, so it's taking much longer. But it's a real challenge to manage that much time for only editing, which is one part of the whole video creation system. Also, I tried multiple editing techniques that I could avoid to save my time, because it's really time consuming. So here are the things that I learned after making this mistake. Number one, learn simple editing skills. We don't need to do fancy editing when we are editing our own videos, because editing itself takes a lot of time. And the next thing is invest to save your time. So if you have budget, you can outsource an editor. And if you have not, then also you can try out the tools that can save you a lot of time. Recently, I invested in Descript AI, which is an AI-powered video editor that lets you edit the video like a document. So it's a really easy to use tool and has saved me a ton of time. Okay, so the next mistake I did is not having a long-term vision. And this is a huge one. Here is the thing that you definitely need to know before you start creating video content on YouTube. If YouTube is not your hobby project and you are an aspiring content creator, then you need to think this, at least you need a bit of planning. I'm a beginner on YouTube and I'm trying to learn these things. So I'm sharing what I've learned from other creators. So here is the thing, you need to think about this, how you are going to make money on YouTube. Here's the fact, when it comes to making money on YouTube, most of the people think about AdSense. But here is the truth. If you have a huge audience, for example, if you are an entertainment content creator, then you are going to make good money with AdSense. But not everyone has that huge audience. For example, an educational content creator. Though there is a potential, still, not everyone has that huge audience. Plus, the number of audience you will have is not entirely in your control. So, there are some other methods rather than AdSense that can help you to make money on YouTube. For example, having sort of your own business. You could offer services, products, course, or anything that you could sell to your audience. And the thing I learned is YouTube is a marketing tool. It's not a direct money-making tool. I have seen creators on YouTube with under 1,000 subscribers who are making good amount of money, and definitely that's not AdSense. So having a long-term vision is really important, because you need to know where you are trying to go. Plus, YouTube takes some time. So coming to my next mistake, which I did, is last minute uploads. What I did is, for most of the videos, I uploaded them at the very last moment. And as a result, it created a lot of stress, inconsistent uploads, and in the worst case, I missed uploads. This process is not really sustainable, because it takes the joy of creating. You are going to feel so much stressed. You will become inconsistent, and in the worst case, you will burn out. So what I learned about this is keeping a simple content calendar to track and schedule the content, which is really helpful. And by the way, I have created a simple YouTube content calendar in Notion, which is absolutely free, and I will link it below in the description box in case if you want to check out. So coming to my next mistake, which is lack of organization. I admit that I was so chaotic in my whole YouTube content creation process. So simple things like product clips, uploaded YouTube videos, links of the uploaded YouTube videos, thumbnail photos, B-rolls, which is, by the way, the extra footage to support your main video content to make it more interesting. Everything was chaotic. They were not organized properly. And as a result, to find anything, I had to spend much more time than it should. I wasted so much time just finding out one thing. So what I learned is we need to organize these things in folders, naming them properly. This kind of simple organization technique can save you hours. So for example, thumbnail photos could be reused. So we could make a thumbnail photo library. B-rolls could also be used. So there could be a B-roll library. And if there is a proper name attached to the clips, then we can find it later very easily. And this leads to my next mistake, which is not having a proper system. For each piece of content on YouTube, there is so much work ongoing behind the scenes. To make a 10-minute video content piece, you need to invest hours. So, proper planning and system is a must. If you are creating solo, which most of us do, especially when we are starting out, you need to do all the steps to publish a content piece. Though proper system is also important if you have a team to make this content creation process sustainable and to avoid burnout. And also, not having a system won't let you enjoy the process of creating, which is so important for any work. And here is what happened to me without a system. I felt completely chaotic and overwhelmed. I wasted so much time doing things chaotically and in a very disorganized way. And as a result, I felt so much stressed and eventually burnt out. I became desperate to find out what I was doing wrong and make this whole content creation process sustainable and enjoyable for me. After watching a lot of creators, I got to know their workflow and I realized that I didn't have a proper system of creating. Then I realized how much a system is important, which was absolutely missing before. I learned the importance of systems and still learning how to make better systems. This encouraged me systemizing my personal life as well. I also observed that systemizing things can help reduce huge burden from your brain. So, speaking of systems, check out my next video where I will walk you through the simple system I have built for YouTube content creation after learning from my favorite creators, the YouTube content calendar. And if it's already live, then you can watch it on your screen and I will see you there.